Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me once again. So, radio talk show host Charlamagne the God has no plans on backing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for 2024. Let's find out why he has no plans for backing these two individuals, which he backed in 2020. Let's get right into this. yeah. Let's see. Radio show host Charlamagne the God, who is popular with black audiences, said in a recent interview that he has no plans to back President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for re-election in 2024. Isn't that a shock, right? Politico wrote that the host told the outlet he has, quote, has no plans to throw his support behind Biden's re-election. And that, quote, he said he feels burned by backing Harris. Let's go on. See, let's wonder why. I wonder why. Let's see. I've learned my lesson from doing that, he said. Once they got in the White House, she kind of disappeared. Well, let me just say this right up front. Yeah, she kind of disappeared because that was the plan from the beginning. I mean, what does she know? I mean, really, that was the plan from the beginning, my brother. Anyway, he said he suspects neither of them would return to interview with him on his show, The Breakfast Club, this cycle. He said he still gets blowback from his decision to endorse Biden in 2020. He said he did so because he picked Harris as his vice president nominee, but that she had not lived up to her promises. So let me get this straight. You basically endorsed Biden for 2020 because Biden picked Kamala Harris as his vice president nominee. I'm wondering if he watched any portion of the Democratic debate, because in the Democratic debate, and I just saw a little of it. I didn't watch all of it. I didn't need to watch all of it. I don't want to watch all of it. But I just saw that clip where she basically accused Biden of being racist. Right in his face. She accused him of being racist, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Biden picks her as his vice president nominee. Why do you think he did that? I'll tell you why he did that. I'll tell you why President Biden did that. Because she is basically mixed with black. She's supposedly black. She's not purely black. She's biracial. But, you know, Biden, because he's, in my opinion, comes from a racist party, okay, went by the one drop rule situation that happened decades ago. And if you just got one drop of black blood in you, or you considered to be black, yeah. He went by that nonsense, and black people fell for it, including Charlamagne the God. Oh, and by the way, incidentally, sir, wasn't it him on your show that stated that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Keep on doing what you do, bro. Anyway, he says, when I give people my words like, yo, man, I think we should be supporting Kamala Harris for vice president because she's going to hold it down. Let me say this. In what kind of evidence or assurance that you had that would indicate in any way that Kamala Harris would hold it down for you and black people if they voted for him? I mean, what kind of way? What evidence? What was her record? Because from what I understand, I think wasn't she the district attorney or whatever at one point, and essentially she was the one that helped put that law in place that disproportionately had blacks being arrested for containing just a little bit of drugs, and they were being arrested for 10, 15, 20 years for that. Wasn't she a part of that? I'm just saying. So how is she, what evidence or foundation could you have gleaned from that would in any way indicate, in even the most remote way, that she would have held it down for black people? You did it because she's Democrat, and you just under mind control. That's why. But anyway, let's go on. When we say those things and people don't see her holding it down, that causes issues, he told the outlet. D, you told us to vote for them, he added. Do you know how many people say that to me all the time? In other words, he the one encouraged them to vote, but they say, man, you told us to vote. This is what happens when people don't think for themselves. But anyway, Charlamagne also said he thinks Biden is a lousy messenger and lacks the basic political skills that former President Donald Trump possesses, really. Does this sound familiar? Someone questioned me about this in a video before, about, what benefits or policies that Trump put in place then and put in place now that Biden. I already answered that, so I'm not going to even bother to answer that here. I mean, no offense, but I'm not going to even bother to answer that here. Okay, you just read the comment. That's all. The interview comes as Biden is suffering a loss of support among minority and young voters. Why is that? Why is Biden suffering a loss among minority and young voters? Because they see, experience, taste, feel, and hear that his policies ain't working. Really common sense, really, the way I see it. A recent USA Today Suffolk University poll showed that 1 in 5 black voters would support a third-party candidate in 2024. The poll also showed Biden has fallen behind Trump. I'm reading you an article. I'm reading you statistical facts that this article is giving me. Then I'm going to give you my opinion. But I'm reading you an article. So if somebody has something that can combat this, then give it. Give statistical facts that combat what I'm reading here, because clearly this is what's going on. The poll also showed Biden has fallen behind Trump, the likely Republican nominee, with Hispanic and young voters, 39 to 34% and 37 to 33% respectively. Both groups backed Biden in 2020. In other words, that's the end of the article. But in other words, both blacks and Hispanics backed Biden. They voted for Biden in 2020. These are the same people that's turning away from Biden. Now think about that for a moment. Do I need to explain why? I don't think I do. That's the end of the article right there. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I do have to explain that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. No offense, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the policies. It's the policies of the politicians that they put forth or they promote or they encourage that dictates the course of the country. It's not their personality. It's not them saying mean tweets. It's not how they attack the mainstream fake media. It's not that, even though the mainstream media is fake. That ain't what it is. It's the policies that they put forth that dictates the course of this world. Now, the course of the country. Now, I can say, and I can understand that some people would say, well, you know what? When Trump was in office, I didn't really see much of a difference. And I can kind of understand that, because I'm pretty sure that his policies didn't have a positive effect or negative effect necessarily on everyone. A lot of people's situations stayed the same. But a lot of times that has nothing to do with Trump's policies. A lot of times that has to do with local government. City and state governments who do not take what the federal government gives them and apply it. Federal government can do certain things, but they're limited. Their hands are shackled, particularly when it comes to doing good things for cities and states. Their hands are shackled. So a lot of these people who, when Trump was in office, didn't experience any tax cuts or prosperity economically or whatever. A lot of it has to do with their local government and not Trump himself. Okay. Somebody argued, well, what did he do what did Trump do except protect rich people? I've already said that, but I'm going to go ahead and elaborate a little bit on that. So Biden isn't protecting rich people? Both Democrats and Republicans do the same thing, man. Stop it. Come on now. Let's be realistic. Democrats do the same thing. They protect the rich, okay? Because guess who the rich really is? Let me reiterate that. Guess who the rich really are? Billionaires and multi-millionaires. And guess what? The whole yak from Democrats about we want to tax the rich so that because they have to pay their share is a bunch of rigmarole. Because like I said in the comment section, and I'll say it here, these billionaires and multimillionaires are not going to let that happen. First of all, they do pay their taxes, okay? They pay taxes. More so than you and I would ever pay in a lifetime. These people pay millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Let's quit playing games. But in addition to that, they don't want the government to take all their money. Would you? So what they do is they invest their money in non-taxable or low taxable corporations or businesses, and or they send their money in put their money in other places and other accounts that are not in this country. They're smart. So they're not going to let the government take their money, because that's what these progressive Democrats and these socialist Republicans will do. And guess who suffers for that? The middle class, you and I. When government officials, let me say this, when government officials, whether they're Republican or Democrat, okay, say to you that they want to tax the rich, okay, they're not talking about the rich that I just mentioned. Because for one, as I've just mentioned about what they do with their money, but for one, a lot of these rich multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires actually endorse these politicians because they own stock in a lot of these corporations and multinational corporations that actually finance these Republicans and Democrats campaigns. So the Democrats and Republicans yes, they're both protecting the rich corporations and the rich people, the the billionaires and the multimillionaires. Yeah, both parties are protected, not just one. When these politicians talks about taxing the rich, they're talking about the middle class, because the elites only want two classes: the very rich and the very poor. And the very poor is you and I. That's what they want. The purpose is to annihilate the middle class, make us no different than any of these third world countries. The purpose is to ultimately transform America into a fully developed socialist country. That's the plan. We already partially socialist anyway. They want a complete socialist government, which will eventually merge into a communist government. And we're going to catch hell if that happens. Not until American people wake up and see what's going on, it's going to keep happening. All this, well, they protecting, he's Republicans protecting the rich. Man, come on now. Both Republicans and Democrats doing that, because it's the rich, the very rich, not the middle class, that supports and finances their campaigns. So they're going to protect them. Let's quit playing games. Let's get behind the veil and see what's really going on, okay? So, yeah, Charlamagne the God, he sees his mistake. Because like I said earlier, when he was interviewing Biden on his show, Biden said to him right in his face, and it wasn't a slip of the tongue, and Biden didn't make a mistake. People try to cover, the mainstream media try to cover up for him. Well, he was thinking about, man, stop it. Why do we fall for this stuff? Why do we, oh my God, I just don't have the patience for it. Why do we fall for the rhetoric? Well, he was just talking about this. Man, look, Biden meant what he said. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That didn't slip out of his tongue. And Charlamagne the God sat up there like a bump on the law, looking like an idiot, and said nothing. But when when he was interviewing, Larry Elder. Yeah. When Larry Elder was on his show and spewing all these facts to him, Charlamagne the God, instead of him saying, you know what, man, you got a point, he just totally ignored everything that Larry Elder said. Totally ignored all the factual data. This is what aggravates me about these people. This is what aggravates me about us as black people. We ignore facts and we let emotions take control. So he ignored everything that Larry Elder said and read some kind of nonsense, talking about some, when you gonna get your nigga wake up call? Yeah, I said it. When you gonna get your nigga wake up call? Because that's what he said. When you gonna get your nigga wake up call? And you know what Larry Elder shot back at him and says, well, and I'm paraphrasing his words. Well, he said, oh, this is what he said. Charlamagne God said something else along the line of, you black, right? So when you gonna get your nigga wake up call? Something along that line. And Larry Elder's response, paraphrasing, okay. Well, I got my nigga call. I know I'm very well black, just like you know that you're black and was black when President Joe Biden got on your show and said if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. And then Larry Elder said, I would have been upset. I thought you would have been upset over someone getting on your show and telling you that if you don't vote for them, you ain't black. In other words, putting you in the box. I'm using myself. I tell people this, people look at me like I'm crazy. There's no conspiracy theory. This is what this man said. And people voted for him. Black people en masse, we voted for this man. I didn't, but we voted for this man anyway. Because we just got to get Donald Trump out. Orange man bad. We got to get him out. Now we catching hell. We catching it. We catching it. And Charlamagne the God, I don't know if your deity is really waking you up this time, bro. I don't know if your divine nature, you say you the God. I don't know now. Because if you the God, then you need to be able to be in, with your divine nature, you ought to be able to see, have been able to see this a mile away. You ought to be able to see this a mile away with the divine nature you supposedly claim you have. Yeah, I know about that. Unbelievable, man. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's see what happens in 2024 November. Let's see what happens. Let's just see. Let's just see. But that's my words on that. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.